That Australia tour didn't just embarrass the royal family. According to palace whispers, it may have detonated the final bridge between Prince William and Prince Harry forever. Behind the polished smiles, designer outfits, and carefully staged charity appearances, insiders now claim a brutal power move is already unfolding inside palace walls. And this time, William allegedly isn't interested in reconciliation. He wants consequences, permanent ones. The monarchy's future is being rewritten in real time, and Harry may be the first royal casualty of a cold new era.
Sources inside the palace confirm that Prince William, in his capacity as heir to the throne, has initiated formal proceedings to strip Prince Harry of his Duke of Sussex title, transferring all associated honors, properties, and financial instruments to James, Earl of Wessex.
Prince William has reportedly reached a point where silence is no longer enough. For years, the palace tried to manage the Harry and Meghan situation quietly, carefully, diplomatically. Every explosive interview, every documentary, every accusation against the royal family was tolerated with clenched teeth and forced smiles. But insiders now believe the Australia tour of 2026 changed everything because it exposed what William allegedly fears most: the transformation of royal status into a commercial business brand. And according to royal commentators, the backlash was immediate, savage, and impossible to hide. The moment Harry and Meghan landed in Australia, critics were already calling the visit a fake royal tour, accusing the couple of blurring the line between charity and celebrity branding. That accusation spread like wildfire because the contradictions became impossible to ignore. One moment, there were emotional visits to hospitals and shelters. The next moment, there were fashion promotions, speaking appearances, luxury wellness branding, and commercial tie-ins appearing alongside those same engagements. Suddenly, the entire trip stopped looking like service and started looking like strategy. And that is exactly what reportedly sent palace insiders into panic mode. What makes this even darker is the timing. The monarchy is already under pressure. King Charles's health concerns continue fueling speculation about how soon William could ascend to the throne. Behind closed doors, people are no longer discussing if William will reshape the monarchy. They are discussing how aggressively he will do it. And according to multiple royal insiders, the Australia controversy handed William the perfect justification to accelerate plans that had allegedly been brewing for years. Sources claim William viewed the tour as a direct humiliation to the crown itself because Harry and Meghan were still using Sussex titles while publicly operating outside royal control. To William, insiders say, that creates a dangerous contradiction, benefiting from royal identity while attacking the institution that created it. And palace frustration allegedly exploded when Australian media started mocking the entire visit as a celebrity circus wrapped in royal packaging. James was raised differently from the beginning. Prince Edward and Sophie intentionally kept their children away from celebrity-style royal culture. No flashy branding, no public victim narratives, no Hollywood machinery. Sources close to the palace say William deeply admires that model because it mirrors his vision for the monarchy's future. While Harry allegedly monetized royal proximity, James stayed almost invisible. And ironically, that invisibility may now be turning into enormous value. Because in William's future monarchy, insiders say the royals who survive will be the ones who understand restraint. The symbolism here is brutal. Harry once represented the monarchy's future, the rebellious but beloved prince, Diana's son, the charismatic royal who connected emotionally with the public. But somewhere along the line, that image shattered. Interviews became attacks, projects became businesses, appearances became negotiations. And now, palace insiders claim William sees Harry less as a brother and more as a permanent institutional risk. That emotional collapse between the brothers reportedly cannot be repaired anymore. Multiple insiders have described the relationship as finished, not damaged, finished, and the consequences could spread beyond Harry himself. Reports now suggest Archie and Lilibet's future titles could also become part of William's long-term restructuring plans. That possibility reportedly terrifies Harry because once William becomes king, the entire framework changes. The emotional implications are enormous. Imagine losing not just status, but the final official connection to the family your mother helped immortalize. Imagine watching your children grow up disconnected from the institution their birth once symbolized. Palace insiders say this is no longer hypothetical discussion. It is active planning, and every new controversy pushes the process forward faster. What makes the situation feel so eerie is that the monarchy itself appears to be preparing the public psychologically before anything official happens. Stories about slimming down the monarchy keep appearing. Discussions about non-working royals losing privileges keep intensifying. Public frustration over taxpayer costs keeps growing louder. The groundwork is being laid piece by piece, quietly, carefully, methodically. And according to sources, William believes public opinion is finally on his side. Right now, the palace hasn't officially confirmed any title removal, but insiders insist the atmosphere has fundamentally changed after Australia. The tolerance is gone, the patience is gone. The emotional protection Harry once had inside the institution may also be gone. And if William truly follows through with these reforms, the royal family the world grew up watching could look completely different within just a few years. Smaller, colder, more controlled, more ruthless. The real question now isn't whether tensions exist. The real question is how far William is willing to go once the crown is finally his. And according to the whispers coming out of palace corridors, we may not have to wait very long to find out. The deeper this story goes, the more it starts to feel less like a family feud and more like a carefully orchestrated royal purge happening in slow motion while the public watches distracted by headlines and gossip. Because according to insiders, Prince William's alleged plan is not simply about punishing Harry for one controversial Australia tour. That tour may have only exposed something the palace had been quietly fearing for years, that the monarchy was losing control of its own image while former royals built billion-dollar celebrity identities using the same institution they publicly condemned. And once that contradiction became impossible to hide, insiders say William stopped seeing compromise as an option. What makes this entire situation feel so explosive is the emotional symbolism attached to Harry himself. This is not just any royal. This is the prince who once walked behind Princess Diana's coffin while the world cried with him. The soldier prince, the rebellious younger brother people once viewed as more relatable than William. For years, Harry was arguably the monarchy's emotional insurance policy because people connected with him in a deeply personal way. That is why this downfall feels almost unreal to longtime royal watchers. Nobody imagined the story would end here, with palace insiders allegedly discussing ways to erase his remaining royal identity piece by piece. And according to multiple commentators, William's frustration allegedly intensified after watching Harry repeatedly position himself as both outsider and insider simultaneously. That contradiction reportedly drives William insane. On one side, Harry publicly criticizes the monarchy, exposes private conflicts, and distances himself from royal obligations. On the other side, he still benefits from the global fascination tied directly to his prince status, his Sussex title, and his royal background. Palace insiders say William believes you cannot attack the institution while still profiting from it. And after Australia, he allegedly decided the line had finally been crossed beyond repair. The palace reportedly viewed the Australia tour as especially dangerous because it blurred royal symbolism with private business interests in a way that could damage the crown internationally. To ordinary people, it may have looked like just another celebrity appearance tour. But to royal strategists, insiders claim it looked like something much bigger, the commercialization of monarchy itself. Every carefully photographed handshake, every luxury appearance, every product association reportedly became another example of why William believes drastic reforms are necessary. And what terrifies royal observers is how organized his thinking allegedly has become. This no longer sounds emotional. It sounds surgical. Behind closed doors, sources claim discussions are already happening about what a future King William monarchy would actually look like. And according to insiders, that vision is radically different from the sprawling royal machine people grew up with. William reportedly wants a smaller inner circle, fewer public royals, stricter accountability, tighter control over titles, and zero tolerance for behavior that creates reputational risk. The old system allowed dozens of royals to carry titles and privileges simply because of birth. But William allegedly believes Martin Britain no longer accepts that model, especially during economic uncertainty and growing public resentment toward royal spending. So now every scandal becomes ammunition for reform. And then there is the chilling personal dimension nobody can ignore anymore. The emotional freeze between William and Harry reportedly runs so deep that some insiders claim communication has nearly collapsed entirely. Think about how shocking that really is. Two brothers once presented as inseparable now allegedly operate like political enemies trapped inside the same dynasty. The emotional wounds from interviews, memoirs, accusations, and public betrayals reportedly harden into something colder than anger, indifference. And insiders said that may be the most dangerous stage of all because once emotion disappears, only strategy remains. That is why James, Earl of Wessex, suddenly matters so much in this narrative. Not because he is replacing Harry directly, but because he represents everything Harry stopped representing in palace eyes: quiet loyalty, discretion, stability, no chaos, no commercial empire, no public warfare against the institution. Royal commentators increasingly describe Edward and Sophie's branch of the family as the safe royals, dependable figures who never embarrass the crown and never demand attention. And in William's future monarchy, that reliability may become more valuable than charisma itself. Some insiders believe Harry's deepest fear is not personal humiliation, but historical erasure. Losing titles would symbolize something devastating, the final confirmation that the monarchy no longer sees him as essential. And psychologically, that cuts far deeper than headlines ever could. Because despite all the anger, all the interviews, all the resentment, Harry's entire identity was shaped by the royal family from birth. Remove the titles, remove the institutional connection, and what remains? According to palace critics, William may believe that is exactly the point. A monarchy cannot survive if former royals can endlessly monetize royal status without royal responsibility. What makes the timing even more ominous is the growing sense that the transition of power may happen sooner than expected. King Charles's ongoing health concerns continue fueling speculation about how aggressively William is already preparing behind the scenes. Sources claim he is studying constitutional precedents carefully, building quiet alliances, and analyzing how previous European monarchies modernized themselves during crisis periods. The Danish monarchy reportedly fascinates him because it demonstrated something critical, that public backlash against title reductions fades surprisingly quickly when the reforms are framed as modernization rather than punishment. And this is where public opinion becomes William's strongest weapon. Palace insiders allegedly understand that many ordinary people are exhausted by royal drama, celebrity victim narratives, and taxpayer-funded privilege. The Australia backlash reportedly reinforced the perception that Harry and Meghan operate more like global influencers than traditional royals. Whether fair or unfair, that perception matters politically, because once the public stops emotionally defending someone, institutional reforms become much easier to justify. And according to royal commentators, William knows it. Still, there is something haunting about how this entire saga mirrors older royal tragedies. History inside the monarchy has always been filled with exiles, discarded heirs, disgraced relatives, and painful power struggles hidden beneath ceremony and tradition. But this time, the collapse is happening in the digital age, under constant global scrutiny, with every private wound transformed into public entertainment. Millions of people are now emotionally invested in a royal civil war unfolding almost episode by episode across interviews, documentaries, memoirs, leaks, and palace whispers. And somewhere inside all that noise, a family appears to be disintegrating in real time. Yet, perhaps the most unsettling detail of all is how calm William reportedly appears throughout the chaos. Insiders describe him not as explosive, but determined, controlled, focused, almost detached. That calmness makes the rumors feel more believable, because truly transformative royal decisions are rarely emotional in public. They are methodical, quietly prepared, slowly normalized until the final announcement no longer feels shocking, only inevitable. Right now, officially, Harry still remains the Duke of Sussex. Officially, nothing has been stripped away. Officially, the palace continues avoiding direct confrontation publicly. But insiders insist the machinery of change is already moving beneath the surface. Parliamentary discussions, legal frameworks, succession planning, strategic leaks, public conditioning, all of it building toward what some commentators are calling the biggest royal restructuring in generations. And if those insiders are right, then the Australia scandal may eventually be remembered as the moment everything finally snapped, not because of one speech, one photograph, or one controversy alone, but because it convinced Prince William that the monarchy could no longer survive with divided loyalties and uncontrolled royal branding attached to it. The crown, according to palace whispers, is preparing to protect itself at all costs now. The terrifying part is that once royal machinery truly begins moving, it rarely stops halfway. And somewhere tonight behind palace gates, beyond the cameras and carefully staged public smiles, insiders claim plans are still unfolding quietly. More discussions, more calculations, more decisions waiting for the right moment, which means this story may not even be close to finished yet.